It was a summer Sunday morning. The outdoors smelled of crisp pine, apples, and cherry wood. I was drinking my coffee outside as I always do, and listening to birds chirping and the songs of the wind. I enjoyed my time sitting down when I saw a mirror out of the corner of my eye. I was curious as I had never brought a mirror outside. I thought maybe it was from when my friends came over for a party. They got hammered and fell asleep on the grass. I picked up the mirror and it looked something like an ancient artifact from Japan. I could tell because I had been taking Japanese for about 10 years now. It read, "You are living in a world of lies. Look into the mirror to see the truth." I will just go along with this prank someone is pulling on me. I looked into the mirror like a goofball with my tongue sticking out and my pupils in different places. Then I realized something. Parts of my hair that were there just a moment ago were gone. My face was scratched and my nose was bleeding. The mirror gave me the appearance of one of those zombie apps. I chuckled a bit and I said out loud, "Good prank." But no one responded until a voice from the mirror suddenly said, "Prank? The only prank that I know of is the world you live in, so let me show you the truth." A bright light shone in my face for about 30 seconds until it started to fade away around me. And then I saw around me broken down buildings and homes infested with rats. The only buildings not destroyed were chemical plants. It seemed that everything was run by a chemical similar to sulfuric acid, as the town stunk of the substance. The sky was dark with smoke and the sun was barely visible. Trees were covered in soot. Corpses were laid across the sidewalk. Cars were filled with dead bodies. The only people alive were people talking to their missing limbs. I came across a disabled man with a missing eye. I proceeded to talk to him as I wanted to understand what was going on. I could tell the man was without a formal education, for he did not speak proper English. He had a quiet, dark, and creaky voice. He whispered, "The Russians, they used chemicals on us. The Russians take over everyone. They used chemicals. Run the city." Coughing up small amounts of blood in between phrases. Disgusted, I walked around the town and found a well-dressed businessman. I asked him, the only sane person, "What is going on? What type of Satan worshiper is running this place?" But unfortunately, he was even more insane. He laughed, and with a grin on his face, he said, "Well, you seem to be quite the curious one. I'll tell you. See, I am successful, and I am feeding the chemical businesses. Everyone who is not successful is left to rot. Their only companions are their missing limbs. They live their lives laying in their own blood, using it as their only drinking source. We don't need to help those failures. Soon, they will all be gone." I asked the mirror, "Why did you take me to this hellhole?" The mirror responded quietly, "I only wanted to show you the truth." I tried to break the mirror by hitting it with a hammer, but nothing happened. Instead, the mirror responded by saying, "You cannot break the truth." I looked around me and found a vat of the chemical used to run the town. I threw the mirror in the vat. I heard shrieks of horror, and then there was silence following a shroud of darkness covering me for what seemed like an eternity, but was only a matter of seconds. Then I heard a long, drawn-out beep sound. Then I arrived back to where I was before. I screamed with one final breath, "This world is a lie!"
Do you have something that you truly relentlessly desire? Despite your state of life, is there something else that you would go completely to the end of the world to get? Well, luckily for you, there's a way to achieve what you're looking for. And you don't need to go to the end of the world to get it. But you need to go somewhere. In a place maybe too out of reach for some. It's not far away, closer than one may believe. But there are requirements that some individuals may not meet. First, wherever it is that you seek, you must seriously desire what you want. In your eyes, it should be something you need. If you begin the journey without the correct state of mind, you will surely fail, as it will be nearly possible to turn back once the journey starts. The second requirement is that you'll need a vehicle of sorts. Most use a car, as it is the most comfortable choice. There have been a few select that have used small motorized vehicles, such as an ATV or a motorcycle. But this has been proven to be quite difficult, as the conditions can prove to be too bothersome. Do not use a vehicle too large or noticeable, as you will need some of the cover light to be most safe. Also, while any sort of car would do, you would not want to choose the most expensive or cherished vehicle. You can take your slick new black Mercedes for the drive if you like, but don't expect it to come out in a pristine state. Make sure your vehicle is completely fueled before beginning the drive. First task to accomplish is to locate. It doesn't have a name, it's not on a map, and technically it doesn't even exist. It'll only show up if you're looking for it at the right time. And you will only spot it if you know what to look for. Finally, you must be alone during the journey. You didn't think you'd be able to go with a group, did you? It must be night when you begin. Choose the time of night where you believe the roads are the least populated. Drive to any area that's just a stretch of road surrounded by woods. Here's where you want to start. Paying close attention. If you're looking for the road, it'll turn up eventually. But you need to search for the road's hint in order to pull down the right one. Once you are close, you'll see or feel its signs. Will be dependent on what you desire. For example, if you search wealth, you may spot shimmers on the empty branches of trees as if they resemble the shine of gold or diamonds. If you seek love, you may begin to see rose petals slowly dance in the light breeze, blowing in the road's direction. If you seek revenge, you might sense an ever-growing feeling of heat or anger in your body as you approach. Just know what it is you really want, and you have no problem finding it. Once you're sure you have found the revealed road, take a deep breath and turn down onto it. At this point, you have officially started down the nameless road, which brings you through 11 miles, leading to whatever it is you seek. Each mile will test your desire and will expose if you really do want what you're searching for. Before you go any further, stop the car and be wary of a few advisements. Do not turn on a radio during the drive. Do not use a phone during the drive. Reception would be cut off anyway. Do not open the windows during the drive. Make sure they are closed before you continue. If you're riding a vehicle without windows or a top, prepare for the worst. The odds are heavily against you. Do not attempt to leave your vehicle at any time. You never want to exceed 30 miles per hour unless you're desperate to make it through a section of the road. And most importantly, as with any drive, buckle up. Feel free to prepare and make sure you're ready. Once the road has been entered, time has stopped, so you don't need to worry about losing the night. Though you may not notice, you're not actually in your own world anymore. Take one last moment to realize that once the first mile is over, there's no turning back. If you ponder turning back at all, know that you shouldn't even be on this journey in the first place. Once it is all done, continue on the road. On the first mile, you won't see any change. Road passes through mostly woods, a few miles being an exception. The air will turn a bit cooler, in which you should turn on your heating system if your vehicle has one. You won't want to take your eyes off the road later. Take some time to calm any uneasiness by admiring some of the night sky. You'll see it completely lined with stars, more than it would ever be possible. If the weather was cloudy beforehand, you'll notice that the sky is now clear. On the second mile, the air will become even colder. This is primarily the reason why traveling in an open vehicle is difficult. With each mile, the air will drop in temperature, even if the season would be warm. If the air is too cold to bear, even with the heat on, your only option is to speed up. With each mile, the road has become more complex, taking more turns and showing an increasing amount of road hazards. Be sure to always be focused on the road in front of you in order to avoid as many bumps or obstacles as possible. Hitting a few rocks and potholes won't hamper your progress too much, but you want to keep it in the best condition for as long as possible. If your vehicle is forced to stop because of damage, then there's nothing left you can do but eventually freeze to death. On the third mile, you may begin to spot silhouettes of humans in the linings of the trees. Pay no attention to them. Even if they seem to get closer, it will be hard to resist peeking at their unnerving, distant appearance. But know that they will reveal themselves later. At this mile, the road will become dirt, even if you weren't driving on it in the beginning. Keep center of the path, as it will become narrow and wide at random intervals. On quick side note, should you ever attempt to turn around despite the previous warnings, you'll be left on a path which never ends. You would simply run out of fuel eventually and left to freeze in the cold conditions. On the fourth mile, you'll not only see more of the figures, but you'll begin to sense to hear them. In the back of your mind, a very faint, unintelligible whisper will echo. These will come and go, but you can't stop them. If they become bothersome or distracting, try to tune them out by thinking of what you desire. Attempting to listen and determine, you'll only attract them to you. And you want to be as far away from them as you can. They'll be closer later. There's no use in bringing them near physically. On the fifth mile, you will come to a clearing. The lining of trees to your left will disappear, reveal a lake with no end, a beaming great moon over the water. The illumination of the moon will be so spectacular your vehicle's headlight will no longer be required. Restrain yourself from gazing at it. And if you look at its light for even more than a few seconds, the road in front of you will end, throwing your vehicle in the water, which you will freeze to death in mere minutes. The voices will be gone for this mile. Don't rejoice yet. They'll be back. On the 6th mile, take into account that you're more than halfway done. Despite the progress, we may lose hope here. The stars have disappeared at this point, leaving an empty, black abyss. The clearing would have ended, leading you back into the woods. The only light you will be provided is your vehicle's headlights, but they will flicker from time to time, even if you're sure they're in perfect working order. If you have a radio, it will turn on automatically. If you didn't turn it on beforehand, it will produce an overwhelming screech that will send you off the path. A calm voice will then begin to speak about your greatest fears, what it is you are horrified of in your life. It will speak in a way that will cause you to visualize those words in your mind. so don't listen to it. If you've been to comprehend the setting, the horrors will prove too much for you to stay on the road safely. Attempting to turn the radio off will prove no use. Speed up if you need to. Keep your mind off the voice as much as you can. As you approach the end of the mile, the voice will fade out of the speakers, leaving your ears at peace. For now. On the 7th mile, the voices from the figures will return. It won't sound like a whisper this time, but more like distant screams, growing closer with each second. At some point on this mile, you'll hear one of them in your ear, as if it was right behind you. This is because one of the figures have found their way into your vehicle. Do not turn around. Their faces will shock you into a paralysis, leading you off the road. If you don't draw attention to it, it will become uninterested and hopefully leave. These beings are said to be the ones who have traveled on this road before, but were not successful. They live in the remainder of their existence in suffering and darkness, their only goal being to bring down other travelers with them. It has been said from experience that these beings can't physically harm you, so as long as they don't cause you to wreck, you should be fine. On the 8th mile, slow down if you're going too fast. The road here takes very sharp turns, which if overshot will throw your vehicle into a pit of trees. The cold is near fatal here. If you were to have a glass or bottle of liquid in your vehicle, it would be solid in seconds. The heating system will be completely obsolete. Your headlights will flicker more, but sometimes shutting off for a few seconds. You should brake if this happens, but do not completely stop. The figures will be following you at this point. You should stop for too long. They'll surround your vehicle. More of their screams can be heard outside of your doors, and sometimes surrounding in mechanical laughter. Their hands will claw at your windows, desperate to reach in and feel something living. Do not look at them. The last thing you want to happen is to crash and be trapped with them. If you don't make it from here, pray that it's the freezing that ends you. On the 9th mile, your vehicle stalled. Headlights shut off, as will all systems inside. There is nothing you can do to prevent this. What you need to do is close your eyes and immediately attempt to restart the vehicle. Keep your eyes closed and the figures will surely surrounded you at this point. The starting off of the vehicle will frighten them, and they will all back away temporarily. This will give you a chance to start moving forward again. If you begin to hear the windows crack from the shroud, don't lose focus. The beings can alter the vehicle, but remember that still not have the physical strength to affect you. You will hear nothing but their voice rampage in your mind. There's anywhere between a dozen or 100 after you. Once you start the vehicle, floor it so as long that you can stay on the path. When the 9th mile's done, the beings will retreat. On the 10th mile, the beings will stop. If you're to look in your rearview mirror, do not actually do this. But not as if they were chasing. They're watching you as if they were seeing you off. As you go down the 10th mile, the road will be smoother. As you're back on the 1st mile, the figures will be winding the sides of the path ahead of you. They won't be after you, but watching you as you pass. Some have theorized the beings are oppressed here, but that you have come a very long way on the journey to what you desire. This is false. They are not oppressed, but happy. They're happy that you are about to approach the next mile. They're happy because you're most likely going to your death. On the 11th and final mile, everything in your vehicle will lose power as it did on the 9th mile. The vehicle would normally be immobile, but you'll still be moving. An unknown force will be pulling you forward. In the darkness, you'll see a glowing red light up ahead, as if it was the end of a tunnel. Close your eyes and cover them. Do whatever it takes to not see the light through. Covering your ears would also be helpful, but keeping your eyes covered should be a higher priority. The red light is another clearing, but there's no moon or lake this time. Once it's entered, unrelenting and inconceivable voices will sound from all directions, and no amount of bravery conditioning will spare you from these sounds. The cold turn into a merciless heat, burning all parts of the vehicle. You'll feel the illusion of flesh being burned off your bones, that every part of you is being destroyed as you travel through screams and audible suffering. As you keep your eyes closed, resist the urge to see what you are. You will survive through the suffering. This will last a total of 31 seconds, but many fail to keep their vision closed during that time and are left to the worst fate of the road. Where is the mile located? Those who survive do not know. Some have named it the transmission from hell, but whether it's a part of hell is a debate. After the final mile, power will return. Stop the vehicle. Take a moment to possibly regain some of your sanity. Let the screaming in your ears begin to fade, and know that you've nearly completed the journey with the hardest task overcome. Breathe and begin to drive forward once again. After only a kilometer, your vehicle will arrive at a dead end. Stop here and don't attempt to move again. Nothing will happen right this second, but do not be disappointed. Relax and close your eyes, and imagine in your mind what you desired the whole time. It will most likely be the same as when you entered, but some may actually change the desire during the journey. Think about what it is you went through such a terrifying and difficult event means to acquire. Imagine possessing it in your hands. Once you have completely visualized this, slowly open your hand. Then you will find yourself at the beginning of the unnamed road where you first began. This may confuse you, but know that you are finished. Your task is done. Your mind will then turn to your reward. If your desire was material, check the back seat or the trunk. The object is larger. If the object was small enough, it might already be in your pocket. If what you desired was non-material, then don't be disappointed as the change is not immediate. Turn back where you came from, and you will find your life what you wanted here. You may have found the love of your dreams. You may have gained unnatural, imaginable power. You may put a hated enemy to the most satisfying revenge possible. You will have no doubt gained what you deserve. So the task is done. What's the catch? Is your vehicle cursed? Is there something you're about to lose? Is your death imminent? The answer to all this is no. Of course, you've done the challenge. You've proved worthy of what you desire. Stated before, the sounds of the 11th mile continue to exist in your mind, potentially causing you some vivid and unusual nightmares, but these should prove as nothing compared to what you gained. Now, one last question. There's something else you desire? Are you not satisfied? After all, you've left right back where you started. The ride's right in front of you. So are you up for another drive? If so, buckle up. Thank you for watching. So the first creepypasta was Lies, and it was not read by me, but it was written by me. I tried to put it on the wiki, but we got to know. But the second one was read by me, and that was 11 Miles. It's a decently known creepypasta, but I find it among one of my favorites, so I included it. The songs are by Myuu. I think I'm just going to say that because I don't want to pronounce this person's name wrong, or this band's name, group, whatever. But the songs were Nebula and Moonlight Mission was the name of the songs. So if you want to see more creepypastas by me, like, comment, whatever you want to do to let me know that my creepypasta readings are good. Thank you, and have a spooky day.